Today, I've got guest and physicist Max Tegmark here to answer some questions. Hey Max, why should I care about nuclear weapons?
Because we've learned that they're even more dangerous than we first thought. The biggest threat from nukes isn't explosions that kill millions of people, or radioactive fallout that kills even more, or even a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse that causes mayhem by frying the electrical grid and electronics across a continent. No, the biggest threat from nuclear weapons is a global nuclear-induced winter in which the fires and smoke from as few as a few thousand nukes could darken the atmosphere enough to plunge Earth into a planet-wide mini ice age with year-round winter-like conditions. This could cause a complete collapse of the global food system and apocalyptic unrest, potentially killing most of us 7 billion people on Earth.
But didn't we get rid of most nuclear weapons when the Cold War ended?
Well, yes and no. When the Cold War ended, the US and Russia slashed their nuclear arsenals, but they still have about 7,000 nukes each, which could allow either country to create a nuclear winter all on its own, even if the other doesn't retaliate.
But why should I worry about a nuclear winter when nobody in their right mind would start a nuclear war?
Unfortunately, an all-out nuclear assault isn't as unlikely as you might think, because the most likely way for a nuclear war to start isn't political, it's accidental. For example, the time faulty computer chips in US alarm systems erroneously signaled incoming Soviet missiles and the US started to prepare for full-blown retaliation, or that time when Russian satellites mistook an unusual glint of sunlight off of clouds for incoming American missiles, and an officer averted retaliation just by ignoring the alarm on gut instinct. Or the time after the Cold War ended when Russian radar systems thought a Norwegian scientific rocket was an American nuclear missile and almost launched their missiles in retaliation. You know, these close calls keep happening, and sooner or later our luck is going to run out and an entire nuclear arsenal is going to be launched accidentally.
Isn't getting rid of nukes a national security threat, though?
Well, no, because it's pretty clear that a country only needs a small number of nuclear weapons to have an effective deterrent against nuclear attacks, and any more are as much of a national security threat to the nation that owns them as to the rest of the planet. So given the risks of accidental nuclear war and nuclear winter, it's stupid, dangerous, and irresponsible for any country on Earth to have more nuclear weapons than it needs for deterrence. If we continue hoarding excessive nuclear arsenals, winter is coming.
Okay, I have one more question. Why should I spend my time worrying about nukes when there's nothing I can do about them?
Actually, there is something you can do. The nuclear arms race isn't driven entirely by security interests. Money drives it too, and politicians who like to act tough. And in a time when they really should be downgrading, the US and Russian governments are both planning to upgrade their arsenals at a huge cost. And who does that money go to? Well, about 2% of the S&P 500 companies are involved in nuclear weapons production, and while you can't stop paying taxes, you can help stigmatize the nuclear arms race by divesting from companies that produce nuclear weapons. I'll give you a link that you can put in the video description to a site that helps you do just that.
All right, thank you, Max, and thanks to the Future of Life Institute for their support and help producing this video.